Good evening and welcome to Weekend News. I'm Michaela Brewa. Coming up in the news this evening, Government of Sierra Leone signs an MOU with the InterGAD Solution for Africa International Entrepreneurship for the improvement of agriculture in the country. 10 senior secondary schools in the western areas schools on the reduction of teenage pregnancy, reproductive health and other related sexually transmitted diseases and infections. Sierra Leone Brewery Limited provides food items to Muslims. All these stories and more in the news this evening. I'm Michaela once more. We begin the news. The government of Sierra Leone, through the Ministries of Agriculture, Trade and Finance, have signed an MOU with the InterGAD Solution for Africa International Entrepreneurship. One of the objectives of the MOU is for a general framework of cooperation and mutual commitment between parties to conduct feasibility studies for the implementation of the project. According to the MOU, the studies will estimate the cost value of the land to be provided by the government of Sierra Leone in accordance with the laws of the land. The Memorandum of Understanding will see the establishment of an onion farm, poultry and a center for research and training in agriculture. The project will help to cut down the importation of chickens and will create jobs and help stimulate economic growth. President Ernest Bai Koroma has returned to Freetown after his last leg of consultations with President Jacob Zuma at State House in Pretoria, South Africa. The meeting was focused on present reforms of the United Nations in relation to the Common African Positions for Permanent Seats status. President Koroma is chairman of the Committee of 10 Heads of State and Government of the African Union on the reform of the United Nations. The two heads of state and government exchanged views to maintain the LEONE consensus on the Common African Position and addressing challenges facing the continent. President Koroma and President Jacob Zuma also discussed bilateral relations for which both leaders pledged their commitment to strengthen them further. President Koroma appreciated the assistance provided by South Africa to Sierra Leone with the provision of a laboratory, facilitating the Cuban doctors during the fight against Ebola and training offered to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. Upon his arrival at Lungwe International Airport, President Ernest Bai Koroma briefed the press about the outcome of his visit. Schools from the
Mr. President, welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm sure these guys would like to see that. Thank you.
Presidential spokesman.
Thank you very much.
Ambassador to the AU.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
Director.
Thank you very much. Safe journey. We'll meet soon. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
would you describe it, sir?
Well, on the whole, I will say the trip has been successful. Successful because I've had the opportunity to hold consultations with some of the African leaders, starting with the chairman of the AU and regional leaders, and issues that relate to our bilateral relationships as countries, but more so on issues bordering on my mandate to chair a committee that has been charged with the responsibility to advance the African position on the reform of the Security Council.
Sierra Leoneans are really expectant. They want to know what the outcome may be. How would you describe it? How successful has it been?
Well, it has been very successful, I must say. On the area of bilateral relationships, particularly Egypt, we had very fruitful discussions with the President of Egypt, and amongst the issues that he has proposed to do in strengthening the relationship between the two countries is he has offered support in our establishment of an embassy there, not only having an embassy but also constructing an embassy itself, and he has even offered Sierra Leone a plot in the new administrative district that they have designed to construct. And fortunately for us, we are the very first country that has been offered a plot in that location. Additionally, you know, we've had ties in terms of capacity building over the years, including strengthening our military. We've had extensive discussions with the top brass of the military, and they are quite prepared to continue with the program of training our military officers, giving them technical support, and they have even offered to support us where possible in developing our capabilities to facilitate our UN missions. To that extent, I will hurriedly dispatch a team out to Egypt to consult insofar as building up our military capabilities. But it's not only military, they have also offered support in the ICT, agriculture, health, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and his colleague will be working out the details. So to that extent, I think we have enhanced the bilateral relationship. And in South Africa, President Zuma was also quick to congratulate us on putting Ebola behind us, and he offered that he will continue with giving us support on areas that will be determined by both the ministries of foreign affairs. So we are looking forward to advancing the bilateral relationship on those directions. On the issue of the C10, like I said, we've had consultations with the chair of the AU, the president of Chad, and President Sisi, President Mugabe, President Zuma, and we have all agreed on taking the next step in advancing the reform of the UN Security Council. Mind you, our position as African countries is that we should be included as permanent members in the Security Council and also non-permanent members in the Security Council. And where possible, if the new membership or whoever is a member in the restructured UN Security Council carries a veto, that facility should also be extended to Africa. That is our position. And we have come a long way in advancing that position. We have heightened the profile of the African position, but I think we need to move on to the next step. And it is the options that we have to adopt in the next step that we have had our consultations. And because it has to do with the AU, I will not at this stage divulge the issues until the end of the next AU summit in Kigali, which is sometime this month.
If someone is to ask a question about your optimism, about the possibility of Africa speaking with one voice, as is your quest right now, what would your response be?
I will say that we are strengthening that. We have had issues in the past, but over the years and with the reports we have been providing in this, the AU meetings, the entire African community will continue to support the Ezulwini consensus. That is the position of Africa. And we have had no dissensions. We don't expect any dissensions. We will continue to speak with one voice because that is our strength.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
10 senior secondary schools from the Western area have been schooled on the reduction of teenage pregnancy, reproductive health, and other related sexually transmitted diseases and infections. The two-day session was hosted by Forum of Sierra Leone Youth Network with support from Airtel. Abraham Samura was at the conference hall of Peace Museum at New Englandville.
10 senior secondary schools are drawn from the east and central and western part of the country. The pupils were schooled on the effect and causes of teenage pregnancy, sexual reproductive health and rights, and the problems of sexually transmitted diseases and infections. UNFPA's program analyst Salimatu Kemokai said 40% of maternal death occurred as a result of teenage pregnancy. She said our organization believes in preventing teenage pregnancy by responding to it, calling on the pupils to abstain from unwanted pregnancy. Madam Kemokai stressed the need to practice safe sex and sexual reproductive health and rights. The head of corporate social responsibility of Airtel, John Ross Johnson, said Airtel supported the session to complement government's effort in reducing teenage pregnancy in the country. She said promoting quality education is part of our institution's corporate social responsibility, saying that they have also built schools across the country. Madam John Rose said Airtel is also partnering with the First Lady's office in the campaign against teenage pregnancy and reproductive health messages. The senior community health officer, National Secretariat for the Reduction of Teenage Pregnancy, Carol Vandy, told the pupils that the secretariat was set up by President Nkrumah in his quest to reduce teenage pregnancy in the country. Mrs. Vandy said teenage pregnancy is alarming in the country, stating that a UNICEF report indicates that over 15,000 girls were impregnated during the Ebola outbreak. She commended the Forum of Sierra Leone Youth Network and Airtel for complementing the Secretariat effort in its drive to reducing teenage pregnancy in the country. Madam Vandy underscored the need for educating pupils in various schools on the dangers of teenage pregnancy and on sex education. Chairman of the session, Siraji Rollins Kamara, also board member of the Forum of Sierra Leone Youth Network, and Edward Tifa of the Democrat newspaper spoke of the alarming rates of teenage pregnancy in the country. They said the issue has becoming a social menace and emphasizing the need for proactive measures and policy to address such threats.
As part of its corporate social responsibility, Sierra Leone Brewery Limited has provided food and Maltina drink to Muslims. A symbolic presentation of over 40 cartons of Maltina and food items were donated to the Masjid Al-Fatih, Edward Lane, and Kington Bridge Mosque as part of support to the Muslims during the Ramadan. Mariamuddin Kekano reports.
According to the brand manager THERESA MUSA, the move is to educate the Muslim community that Maltina product is non-alcoholic drink.
Basically, this move was initiated because we're trying to basically bring a relationship closer to the Muslim community. As you know, when you think of brewery, the first thing that comes to mind is alcohol. So we're trying to tell them we do a wide range of other drinks that does not have alcohol in them. We have our Climax, which is our energy drink. We have Maltina, obviously. We have Feroz. We have Royal Club, which has different varieties in that. So we do have a lot of other drinks within our portfolio that are non-alcoholic drinks. So the essence of all this is to bring the Maltina brand a little closer to the Muslim community, reach out and show support during this Ramadan period, tell them thank you for all this years with the support so we can continue.
Commercial manager LEONE Brewery Limited, Umukonte, called on the Muslim community to patronize the company. She said Maltina is one of the company's products. Chief Imam Sheikh Mohammed Lamin Conte called on the various Jamats the product is non-alcoholic.
This drink here, we all understand. People don't drink for quite a long time, and we self don't drink, but so many people don't understand. I try to tell them, say, this particular drink here, it turns like how the palm tree turn. This palm tree, now God planted in the dunya. Not too much America at all. Inside this palm tree, we get palm oil. We eat them. All man they eat palm oil, and I swear they have banga within the brook day. They don't malanko. With the drinker, with the eater on the plazas. Now inside the same palm tree, we get that boyo. Nobody no want that. Pass them out with the drinker, but the Muslims they will not want that. Well, if we accept to drink the palm oil we eat on the plazas and eat the malanko, I think say that no means for condemn palm tree, say palm tree no for day.
He expressed appreciation for the gesture to the various mosques. At Masjid Mahmoud Kington Bridge Mosque, the LEONE Brewery Limited also provide food items for the Laylatul Qadr all-night prayers. Chairman Masjid Mahmoud Kington Bridge expressed their appreciation for the items donated.
Well, I feel very fine because not only for Sianis, this is not the third year we didn't help me for now we get this feeding program. We appreciate that so much. And that make today, before we bring Juma, I tell them, I say Maltina, na soft drink. We don't go to the factory. We say they make stout, then they make dentia. So let people pull out of their mind. We are Muslims.
Deputy High Commissioner of Sierra Leone to Nigeria, Major General Claude Nelson Williams, retired, has been kidnapped in the early hours of Friday 1st of July 2016. According to a release issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, the Deputy High Commissioner was on his way from a military graduation ceremony in Kaduna in the north of Nigeria. The release adds that the Nigerian government has assured the Sierra Leone government that it will do all in its power to ensure the safe return of the Deputy High Commissioner. The public will be updated on unfolding events as the ministry is working with the authorities of Nigeria and Sierra Leone security apparatus to ensure the release of the Deputy High Commissioner. Sand mining along coastal lines has increased, leading to damage to the environment with socio-economic implications. After engagement with relevant institutions, government has taken a robust approach to tackle the situation. One area has been targeted for enforcement by the Sierra Leone Police is the Peninsula Axis. A team headed by the local unit commander, Godrich Division Superintendent Ambrose Sovola, visited Sussex, Bobo and Levuma beaches along Godrich for engagement with residents. Princess Gibson went along.
Sand mining along coastal lines of recent times has been a source for livelihood that is ironical of coastal people. This has resulted to the destruction of touristic values along the beaches. Therefore, steps must be taken to regain these values. In an engagement with stakeholders from Sussex, Bobo and Levuma along Godrich, the local unit's commander, Godrich Division, Superintendent Ambrose Sovula, says government is disturbed by the level of environmental damage caused by sand mining. This, he says, can only be addressed by putting a halt to the practice.
The sand is being mined by our people in the community, and we are living in the community, and we have the police in the community. How can we stop it? We can only stop it if we bring our collective efforts together to put a hold on it. That is, you refuse it, I refuse it, the other community people refuse it.
Revenue Collector Western Area District Council Usman Bangura says sand mining in the peninsular axis has gone out of hands and calls for robust steps.
This illegal mining, you don't go out of hands. You don't go out of hands. The backbone, you don't tire. Pakol know the get act, you know they get blow. And I know say you see the purpose they call you. Who send the left there, who said all the left there, who know they know. What happen now? We don't guess number plate. If you see some matter and they bang, they're for they don't get number plate too. Now we they arrest them and pull the number plate and bring the car. Them are all this you don't have the believe. Who sign the mind so? Then they don't come out except for help. We say now we they don't answer them over so we don't know them who sign they come out.
Sand mining involves many players. One set of people that facilitate sand mining are tipper drivers, who were also engaged on the dangers of sand mining at Levuma Beach, Godrich.
We they say, let us not go mine Sunday, please. Let us not go mine Sunday, please. We don't get a lot, enough and enough. If somebody go mine Sunday, if we hold them, we're not going to left them. And they enforce the checkpoint, now my 13. And they enforce the checkpoint by the police station. Not tell me say, Abayam from the entire.
The coastal residents also have a role to protect their land from such activities. The team therefore visited Sussex and Bobo to explain the robust approach by the Sierra Leone police to enforce laws against sand mining. Various village headmen pledged their support and commitment to protect their communities from sand mining at the end of the engagement. Princess Gibson, SLBC News.
The Director General National HIV and AIDS Secretariat, Alhaji Dr. Mamadou Sise, has said young people have a significant role to play in ending AIDS by 2030. He made this disclosure during a symposium for students and representatives of other institutions on the theme Ending AIDS by 2030, the role of young people, at the YMCA Old Hall in Freetown. Joseph Stanley reports.
The symposium was geared towards mapping out strategies for young people to be actively involved in the fight to ending AIDS by 2030. Dilating on the implication of the 2016 high-level meeting for Sierra Leone, Dr. Mamadou Sise maintained that despite progress made in the national response, treatment, testing and the use of condoms among children and young people is a serious concern. He informed the gathering that as youths are sexually active, 1/3 of the new infection rate is among them, a situation he described as unfortunate. Dr. Sise explained about the importance of the use of condoms and encouraged young people to make good use of it and avoid casual sex. A representative of UNAIDS, Bokari Sam, said ending AIDS means strong political commitment and declaration, as well as innovative ways that will include the active participation of the youths. Edwin McHugh of UNICEF stressed the need to accelerate and invest in education, noting that the high level of illiteracy in the country is one of the factors responsible for the spread of the disease, especially in the rural communities. The National HIV and AIDS Secretariat National Coordinator, Resource Mobilization and Partnership, Delis Thompson, described the symposium as relevant as young people has a major role to play in fast-tracking efforts to end AIDS by 2030.
They are offering themselves to help us fast-track the HIV/AIDS response so that we are able to first achieve by 2020 that AIDS becomes less of a public health threat, and then finally ending it by 2030. They say they want to come together as a coalition to be able to address issues of prevention, issues of stigma and discrimination, which are some of the issues that are affecting the progress of the national response.
Beneficiaries stressed the need for networking, partnership and coalition building to ending AIDS by 2030.
As young people, I think the main thing that we need to do is to put all hands on deck. Young people need to come on board and get themselves trained and empowered, because we are the people that are going to be responsible to lead the country some years from now. So it's our responsibility to come on board and get the training and empowerment package so that we can play our role in fast-tracking it to eradicate it by 2030.
We're talking about partnership, we're talking about networking and young people in AIDS by 2030. I believe, and most other people believe, that HIV and AIDS has taken the place of young people, and in that light, it's only the young people who can fast-track the end of AIDS by 2030.
Several other speakers, whilst making meaningful contribution, emphasized the need for young people to contribute in ending AIDS by 2030. SLBC News Joseph Stanley reporting.
The results of the geo-mapping for community health workers conducted by the Directorate of Primary Health Care of the Ministry of Health has been presented to partners. The result was launched by Deputy Minister of Health 2, Ms. Zulaika Tukupa. The ceremony took place at the Bintumani Hotel, Aberdeen, with support from UNICEF. Ibrahim Samura reports.
This is the first ever geomapping survey that has been conducted by the Ministry of Health and Sanitation with technical support from UNICEF in 20 years. According to the geomapping result, 15,000 community health workers countrywide were mapped. The Deputy Country Representative of UNICEF, Sandra Latov, said the country has made substantial progress in reducing child mortality, saying that despite these achievements, but Sierra Leone was ranked among the 5th highest in the world in terms of child mortality. She said UNICEF has been supporting the Ministry of Health and Sanitation and the district health management teams in the establishment and implementation of community health programs, and that currently UNICEF is also supporting a network of over 10,000 community health workers nationwide in the areas of training, supervision, and the provision of supplies and monitoring and evaluation.
Recognizing the importance of the community health worker, the Ministry of Health has included community health worker in the 2015 basic package of essential health services, which has considered community health workers as part of the primary health care system. To really improve the result, to better know how each of you can work in more collaborative manner and how we can support you to deliver what is the best for the children and the mother in Sierra Leone.
She promises UNICEF unflinching support to the health sector. The Deputy Minister of Health too, Zulai Tukupa, said the Ministry of Health undertook the geo-mapping to get a comprehensive data of all community health workers in the country, as the ministry has incorporated them into their development plan after recognizing their roles in life-saving intervention. She spoke of their valuable contribution in reducing child mortality.
78% of the CHWs reported that they are literate, and 72% reported that they had achieved at least secondary education. This is significantly higher than we anticipated, and significantly higher than the literacy rates in many CHW programs across the world.
Engineer Francis Toka, who is constructing a helicopter, is calling on Sierra Leoneans to support him with the remaining funds for the completion of the helicopter project. The helicopter project was initially designed for a year, but due to lack of funding, it's almost 8 years under construction. Mariama Dinkekan went to the workshop where the helicopter is being constructed.
Yeah, my name is Francis Albert Solomon Toka, FAST for short. Of course, I'm the chief engineer for the Sierra Eagle helicopter project. We're the first mechanical bird we Salone they make. And we start this, of course, in 2007, and we've been supposed to complete them in the following year, that is 2008, if we happen to forget the funds we will need. But from that 10 day, it don't take about 8 years now. We don't do everything. I think say if you've been done in Sierra Leone, of course, you could only they do promotional activities on television, on radio concerning this helicopter. But we don't see now, of course, now Magaya will make a Multi-Magaya College of Education and Technology. And since that time, from 2007, now 2016, is about 8 years, a 1 year program don't take now. So we decide, we actually move from this institution now and go to another location where, of course, now tourism, Ministry of Tourism and Cultural Affairs, for let we try for see how we go take this project on tours, on exhibition tours. We'll go to various places then around the city for let people then see, because that recommendation or suggestion will not come up from people then we say they want to take this here to the people. Okay, some been suggested for open an account in a bank. We've been do, of course, in 2007, but it's difficult for let people then come on, you know, they left their own busy schedule for me then go na bank, you know, various banks they will go open this account for let them put in the little thing where they get, you know, considering the kind of activities working in at them banking halls them, you know, so man will get that grace day. So, but the other suggestion was that we reach out to the people, to the country, and also Sierra Leoneans, of course, look at this project as a national project where they're very much interested in and want to see it succeed. So we decided, say, we move this thing here, we'll get for taken at various places. We don't even make a timetable where we get. We'll get for go to various places then and meet people and talk to them, appeal to them, for let them see what we don't do so far. That is the one that will be help we. What we don't use the money for do so far. 9 we go show them also with this helicopter we what we talk about. Then after that, we'll take on various places then as we don't arrange we timetable. We start with the western part of the city. We will take them from various points like Mauiton, Congo Cross, Aberdeen Road, Longley. Then we can go Aberdeen, they will kind of Mauiton Junction. Then we will go to various places in Bossalt, at various places according to the timetable. For let people then go see reason for me them be support to this project. Whatever a Sierra Leonean go give, not going to be too small enough for making go help this project for come to pass. Because when this project come to pass, now Sierra Leone in name get for sure. We, like the engineer, we get other people them, of course, like the journalists them also, the press and electronic media journalists them, and several other people them, you know, they play their own very important parts them for make sure say this project just succeed. So when we done.
Honorable Saidu Baba Kamara of Constituency 58 Masimura Chiefdom Putloko District has donated over 100 bags of rice to Muslims in the community. The gesture was to provide for the Muslims and their families in the month of Ramadan. Chiefdom Speaker Masimura Pa Momobangra appreciated the gesture and praised the MP for the developments in his constituency. Here's the report.
report here, you find see you go for cash, you must put that too. There is some season advantage because Jesus will sell me for months. Get a baby now, you go back for that. Don't you? Buy not pool. Come on,
So what are the days?
I donate to the people there. For can help them. For the month of Ramadan. For the day when they celebrate, when they learn to
LEONE so we opera tali canto bobino mchina anachoka kolombi kachonga ona rikutoyo kande alhamdulillah ana oloma sudis chai no get come
The World Bank has approved 2 new projects worth $45.5 million as support to the Sierra Leone health system. The project is designed to contribute to the flagship program in the President's recovery plan to increase the utilization and improvement on the quality of maternal and child health. According to our reporter Joseph Stanley, the disclosure was made at a news conference held at the bank's office in Freetown.
Briefing the press, the World Bank country manager, Parminder Brat, said the International Development Association financed the Regional Disease Surveillance System Enhancement Project and also targets the ECOWAS nations of Guinea, Liberia, Senegal and Nigeria with similar support to strengthen their disease surveillance measure. He maintained that the project is complementary to ongoing efforts and will be coordinated closely with key development partners that are currently engaged in the post-Ebola planning and implementation process. Mr. Bratt added that the project will directly support the rebuilding of the government health system from the bottom, working with and through government institutions to rebuilding robust health system that is resilient.
Plan for this new $30 million facility for Sierra Leone is to strengthen laboratory capacity, strengthen disease surveillance, and one particular area in Sierra Leone which is very weak, there has been a lot of focus on human health. There hasn't been adequate focus on animal health. I think you only have one veterinary doctor in the whole of the country. I think we need to strengthen the systems of veterinary specialists in Sierra Leone so that diseases which are transmitted from animals to humans can be detected early, they can be controlled, because nobody wants to see Ebola again.
Health and Sanitation Minister Dr. Abubakar Fofana, on behalf of the government, expressed thanks and appreciation for the support and that the project will focus on the President's 2 priority areas of the post-Ebola recovery for the resilient health system. Dr. Abubakar Fofana informed journalists that the involvement of the bank in the development of the country spans years, highlighting some of the key contributions of the bank to the socio-economic development of the country with focus on the health sector.
When the Ebola virus disease struck, the bank was very flexible and very quick to reprogram funds from this project to support the response. Hence, the first source of external funding for the response came from the World Bank. And learning from that experience, the bank has since introduced what they call a $0 component to each of our new projects.
The minister maintained that the bank before the Ebola outbreak has been supporting the ministry with multi-million-dollar projects, adding that through these projects they have for the past years been able to provide additional incentive for healthcare workers on the performance-based financing project. An interactive session formed part of the news conference. SLBC News, Joseph Stanley reporting.
And now to end the news here once again are the main points. Government of Sierra Leone signed a MOU with the Integrated Solution for Africa International Entrepreneurship for the improvement of agriculture in the country. 10 senior secondary schools in the western area have been educated on the reduction of teenage pregnancy, reproductive health and other related sexually transmitted diseases and infections. And Sierra Leone Brewery Limited has provided food items to Muslims. That's all in the news of this evening. On behalf of the news editor, Abubakar Bandura and Michaela, thanks for watching. Good night.